Hello and welcome to another episode of the Spiritual Sisters podcast. This is Gabrielle Celeste. Welcome, and friends, spiritual Barbies, spiritual Kens. Do I have a surprise in store for you? I feel like if you've been a writer for the show, if you've been listening to us over the years, you've heard me drop that I have read for twins, that I'm very interested and fascinated by the astrology of twins. And today we have sisters Sabine and Carine on, friends of the show, twins that are going to be sharing their stories. So welcome, ladies. Sabine and Carine, I'm so excited to have you and for you to share your stories as intuitive mystic twin sisters. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having us. We are genuinely so excited. I remember we've had the best readings with you, and I know we met during soul reading, and I just knew how talented you were. And I remember seeing you would be working with your sister, and at the time it was like, really? So it's incredible.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so yes, background before we get into the rapid fire questions. So Sabine and I knew each other because we trained together, and I met Carine, your sister, along the process, and I've had the opportunity to read for you both, and I'm fascinated by your astrological makeup, which I know we'll get into. And I really received what you said, and I know of you both, you are equally, if not more, intuitive and psychic, and I'm so excited to talk about your offerings and what you two are offering in this world because it's so needed. And I guess we'll just jump right into it. So because you are twins, and I'm not going to share your specific birth time or anything like that, but I would love to know your cosmic makeup, and we'll start with your astrological big three. So what are your big three in astrology?
Yeah, so we're Cancer Sun, Sagittarius Moon, and Virgo Rising.
Oh my gosh. How does that translate for you both? Maybe Carine, if you want to take that one.
I feel like I always say that we're true Cancers. The emotions are flowing, deeply empathetic, highly sensitive ever since we were children. And then the Virgo and Sag Moon side of us, I'm not as keen on the details, honestly, because I just feel like the Cancer is strong.
Fellow Cancer Sun, so June Cancer, July Cancer's here. I really relate to that, but also the fact that I don't think Cancers, and let me know if you agree with this or not, but I don't think Cancers get enough of a break or just any kind of acknowledgement, because we are ruled by the moon, which means we are changing every 2 to 3 days. And I feel like that is a lot.
Yes, and I feel like it's really easy to write it off, they're crying all the time, they're so sensitive, or all these things. It's no, we are deeply intuitive, we're deeply in touch with our emotions. I usually feel like Cancers are the ones to just be the friend that's always showing up for people, or they have the best advice. And I do think it's because we are so in tune with ourselves and the phases of the moon. So totally agree.
Yeah. Oh man, my fellow Cancers. I feel like I have this conversation with my girlfriend Kelly. She was actually in our group as well, and she was on the show about a year ago. And I was like, no one can hold space for a Cancer other than another Cancer. We just get it.
Yes. Oh my goodness, on a soul level, yes. I believe
that. Yeah, so I know you two.
We're both yes.
The way that you two, but we get it. This Cancerian trio over here, we get it. I love the vibes. Okay, so what's your human design makeup?
I don't actually know much about human design, but I do know that we are generators, sacral authority, and we have a 3-6 profile.
Oh, okay. So I'm a sacral generator too. I'm a 4-6, but the 3-6 is fascinating. I feel like it might change to a 4-6 upon your Saturn return, which I know you both just went through. So maybe we're all the same?
Possibly. Maybe.
Yeah.
I have to check.
Yeah, I feel like they were vibing right there, which I feel like is also on brand for what you two have built together as a business, which we're going to speak to. So same. I love this. Love this already. It's going to be a great episode. Okay, so what are you two currently binging in terms of maybe podcasts, audiobooks, just anything out there in terms of media that you feel is worthwhile of a recommendation?
Oh my goodness. So we're very late to this show. but Severance on Apple. We are obsessed. We like just finished it up in like 3 days. It is so good. We also do read a lot of books. And we went through a phase where, and I think you might understand this, you'll start reading once you start getting into this work. You just want to like read and get all the knowledge. And then it gets to a point where it's like, okay, I do know what I'm doing. I need to trust myself and do it rather than like, oh, I need to just keep learning and growing and doing and like trying to like feel like you have enough or you feel like confident enough. So we phased out from like just reading and taking in all that knowledge, and we still read those books. Like the most recent one I read was You Are the Placebo by Dr. Joe Dispenza. Highly recommend. It's a thick book. She's a bigger read, but audiobooks are our friend. And it's a really interesting listen, and he has so many examples that he shares that makes it like super interesting to listen to. But for fun, like we call these like for fun books, we just finished Count My Lies by Sophie Stava. And if you're into like thriller, suspense, like true crime almost, like highly recommend. And it's gonna be a show, I think, with Lindsay Lohan. So watch it or read it. Read it before it comes out.
You know what? I actually think Lindsay Lohan is a Cancer, and I'm like, that bitch looks phenomenal.
Yes, she's representing well.
I'm like, I don't know if she got a ponytail facelift, a deep plain facelift, whatever she has going on. I'm like, yes, bitch.
Amazing.
So, okay, cool. I haven't heard of that book, but I try to read like a spiritual text at least once a month, but I need to like move away from that and just get like a break from being in like the work so much. So I love that. So okay, we'll be sure to include those in the show notes. Okay, so if you had the chance to work with any client, living or deceased, in the context of your business, who would it be and why?
Probably Ariana Grande. I feel like she's very tapped in. And
Okay.
We just put out a candle based around the Saturn return, and she's spoken about it and how it's changed her life. I feel like our candle in her hands would be a great pairing, honestly.
Yeah. Another Cancer.
Yeah, yes, we just are gravitating towards the Cancers. I'm not even realizing.
The Cancerian energy is real. Yeah, I think she's a Capricorn rising, Libra moon, Cancer sun. And I remember that because she's into astrology and she has spoken about that. So interesting. Okay, cool. And then final question. If you could attend a concert for any artist, living or deceased, who would it be and why?
We just saw Beyonce on the Cowboy Carter tour. Was it last month? I think so. Yeah, last month. And any opportunity we have to see Beyonce, we take it and we go and we have the best time of our lives. Like there's just something, and I think being at this phase in our lives too, like she just reminds me like who I am. She gives me the boost of confidence. Like I can dance to her music, cry to her music, and I just feel like this opportunity to witness greatness and like what she does musically like is so incredible. Yeah, we always leave so inspired. We're like, how many dreams can we tackle tomorrow? Yeah, after her concert. So I think, yeah, just being in her presence for a concert for one evening is just incredible.
Yeah. So I have a question because you've seen her. I feel like you've seen her more than once because I saw that you went to the Renaissance tour too, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So 3 times.
Okay. Is she a witch?
You know what? I do feel like Beyonce is tapped in. I feel like there's just like visuals that she'll have, and like I feel like she does a great job of like setting the space for like any concert, or even like for Act 1 and 2 of this like trilogy she's doing. There has been no openers. I feel like that's very intentional for like the vibe she's trying to set and the show she's trying to put on. So yes, I do feel like she is a witch. She's definitely like part of the group. I think she's just very intentional with how she moves, and nothing is going on that hasn't been like thoroughly thought out. Maybe she spoke with an astrologer or something, or whoever her like guides and sources are. But I feel like she's very intentional in the moves that she makes.
Yeah.
Oh, I think you two will appreciate this story then. So I don't know if you. So I've been watching her. I've been studying her, and I'm like, oh, she is a witch, right? So all this to say, she dropped her birth time in the Cowboy Carter like product merchandise on the day that Mars went direct in Leo. And I think she has Mars in Leo. And for the longest time, everyone thought that she was a Libra rising, but she's actually an Aries rising, Virgo sun, Scorpio moon. And her it's really interesting. Like I definitely so the astrology part, this was the other part. I worked with the twins in the past, and anytime that they have the opportunity to drop that they worked with Beyonce and they like put her on game with astrology, they say it, which I think is really funny. And I just took one of their courses. It's not like I know them well, and I'm not trying to plug their names by any means, but all this to say, I know that she's into astrology, and she came into it prior to her Saturn return.
We're triplets then. Yeah, honestly. I was like, when she dropped Virgo's groove, I was like, we're Virgo rising and she's singing to us.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I die. So if you're watching the YouTube, friends, listeners, audience members, please catch Sabine and Carine's face when I said that. And they're just like, oh. So anyways, thank you for playing the game. So, so I would love to know from the both of you how you two got into this work, because maybe I'm biased here, but Cancers, females, women are naturally intuitive. And I know based off of our time together training, Sabine, is that your mom kind of put you on game for all of this and introduced you to this work. And I would love to know what this has, I guess, progressed to for you over the years, like what age you came into it, because for so many people, we really don't get into this until something actually happens to us. And unfortunately, most of the time it can be traumatic, or it is that Saturn return. And I feel like you two have a very unique story, especially being twins and having a parent introduce you to this work. So I'm going to pass it along to you.
Yeah. I think we were very fortunate and I'm very grateful for that. We grew up in a family that was deeply spiritual. You know, our dad taught us about meditation at a very young age. And even though maybe at the time we were like just kind of giggling around, we still absorbed what it could do for someone. And our mom was always talking to us about God, Mary Magdalene, angels, and just like the importance of paying attention to our dreams and how our guides can communicate with us through them. And so we had the foundation of the world is bigger than what we see right in front of us. I don't believe it was until college that we really started to lean on that knowledge. I think it was our first time going into the world as individuals. And that was difficult, to say the least. Yeah. And those practices really helped us come back to ourselves at a time when we felt like there was nowhere to turn to.
I love that last piece that you said, where you feel like there was nowhere else to turn to, but except towards yourself and almost inward. Would you feel, or would you say that you were challenged in that way during your Saturn return? You're like, hold up.
Do we have?
Well, this is your space. Yes. Please share. I'm so curious.
Yeah, 1000%. Yes. And it was interesting kind of going through it at the same time. And being twins, like so much of our lives feel like a mirror. Like I'll go through something and then she goes through something very similar in a couple of weeks, or vice versa. I think with the Saturn return, it very much felt like, all right, like we're at that age, like things are going to start getting, we're going to start shaking some things up in here. But when it really just started feeling hectic and it started feeling out of control, I remember at one point just feeling so completely lost. And like, I feel like I made every decision wrong in life. Like where did I go wrong? What have I done right? It really was like, okay, none of this is true. Sitting down, meditating, writing, doing my own soul readings on myself, really trying to connect with like my higher self and get that guidance that I needed from her, from my spirit guides, to really just understand what was happening and how to really grow through it and not like crash out, I guess.
Yeah.
Like it really was like, I remember like I reached out to you during like the peak of like I experienced a layoff, and I was like, I'm in the Saturn return and I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
I need support. What do you
Yeah.
see? And like it really has been such a tool for us to be able to lean on these practices because we know that we're never alone. We have our family, but we also have intuition. We have our spirit guides. We have angels around us that are guiding us and protecting us at all times.
So, Kareen, did it translate differently for you during your Saturn return? Because you two were literally going through it at the same time. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
curious, like, if you two, I mean, obviously the challenges were there, but if it was like hitting you at the same time, but maybe in different ways or maybe in the same way because your charts are
Yeah.
so similar.
I always say like sometimes it feels like our lives are like copy paste, like same but different.
Okay.
And so yeah, there were like the heavy hitting things like maybe she experienced a layoff at her job, and um, I was experiencing leaving my job because of like work conditions or just things like that. And I think a lot of my Saturn return had to go into my childhood and healing deep childhood wounds, and being really intentional about it, and reconnecting to my divine feminine was something I really experienced. I'm not sure if it was the same for Sabine, but I was really having to like figure out the softer side of myself, the side of myself that I had buried for a long time, and existing in a more rigid setting with myself. And I found myself, even just in little ways, like wearing more dresses and skirts and allowing myself to dive into art and being creative again. And those are all things that happened through my Saturn return. And it didn't happen all of a sudden. It was more of a gradual thing. But now that I'm out of it, I can see it so clearly.
Yeah. So you spoke to divine femininity. What is your takeaway prior to your Saturn return and how you understand it to be now? Like, what does that look like for you? Because for me, a lot of the divine feminine, at least this has been my experience in my relationship to that side of myself. It's like really just being able to hold some really intense emotions and depth.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm
Mm-hmm.
curious if your relationship and even your definition to the divine feminine has changed after having gone through your Saturn return.
Yeah, I'd say mine was similar. I was disconnected from my emotions before I went on that journey, and it was really about experiencing them fully, not just joy or like the good emotions, but sadness and anger, and what does that feel like in my body, and how can I experience it, how can I turn it into something productive. It was about giving myself the grace to move through challenges without being so hard on myself. I know another thing was just I used to have a higher register in my voice than my sister. Um, I think just like it was I just wasn't, I was kind of living outside of myself and just speaking in a register that made me feel maybe protected at the time. It was like a way of being like, well, I have this mask or protective bubble around me. Mm-hmm. And so through the work now, like my parents used to be on the phone with us and be like, oh, I know it's Korean, like the high voice, whatever. And now like there are times when we'll be on the phone with them and our mom's like, wait, I thought I was talking to Sabine. What's going on? And I'm like, I found my true tone. Yeah, and that's something, that happens. I didn't notice it, but I get people tell me that all the time. I'm just like grateful to like have found my voice and found the power in my voice.
Totally. Oh, that's such a beautiful answer. And I think that's actually something that's so true that I actually don't think very many people know. Depending on the type of healing that you go through, which area of life you're healing, your voice, your register does change. So
Mm-hmm,
that
mm-hmm.
is really cool to know someone that's like actually aware of it and can speak to that and
Yeah.
know exactly when it occurred as well and why it
Mm-hmm.
occurred. So thank you for sharing that. So I just want to speak to also, before I get to this question about your business and how you two decided to just start that together, the calling that you both had to do this joint venture, your charts are really interesting because it is very similar. But Sabine, you're the younger twin, right? And Carine, you're older?
I'm the younger twin.
Yeah. You're the younger twin. Okay,
Yes.
so Sabine's older, Carine's younger, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so I was looking at your charts and I might get this confused, but you two are very obviously similar, but very different at the same time in the sense of the placements in your 12th and your first house. And I study Placidus, so that's where it gets a little bit more specific. Whole signs, it's like evenly divided. But I'm curious because of that difference, because the 12th house in astrology is all about spirituality and the psychic phenomena, and the first house is all about like identity and sense of self. Being twins, literally being in the womb together, deciding to do life together, which I'm sure you two have had past lives together as well. And I'm curious if you've looked into that too. But how do you two differ when it comes to this world of spirituality? And like, how are you different as individuals, as twins, just showing up in general?
Yeah, I would say one that it was Carine, while she's the youngest, that kind of like inspired me to really start exploring my spirituality. I know, and let me just also say it is okay for people that might still be in college, that went through college, if they are not the best 4 years of your life. I just remember going into college and hearing that all the time, and it was not that way for us. We were stressed. We were reading so many pages from it, and we were just like, there's no way. Like, I'm so overwhelmed. And at one point, we were both interning in New York, but we were going to school where we lived back home, and it was a lot of commuting and while maintaining a full-time schedule. And the both of us were getting really burned out, and that's really what inspired us to get into this work. And I do feel like where we differ is like, it's funny, sometimes I think about like, why don't we do like our morning routines together? Like, we rarely like meditate together, we rarely do breath work together, we rarely pull cards together. And because like we're twins and we do things together all the time, it's just been so interesting that we have developed our own, how can I say this? It feels like our spiritual practice is like the one place where we can just be like an individual, and we're not a twin. And when I go to like my sacred space, it's just me and my guides. And I really don't even, not to be mean, I don't think about Korean when I'm there. And it just feels so interesting to be in a place where I'm solely focused on myself, because for all our lives it's been we, and where are we going, and I hope we live together forever, and I hope we live next door, we're neighbors forever, and just like thinking in the future it's always a we. But I feel like in our practices, in our individual practices, is where like I feel like your world when you meditate might look completely different from mine. I feel like we should do like a study on that, like analyze my brain.
Yeah.
It's funny, and I feel like outside of our spiritual practice, Sabine's definitely the more like outgoing one, and I'm more reserved, more shy. Like if we're in a room with a bunch of people we don't know, she might be more compelled to go out and speak to people, whereas I'm just like, okay, I'm just gonna sit in the corner for a little bit. See you in a second. Yeah, and I think that's how I'll like lean on her sometimes if I'm really nervous, you know?
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Do you know if you share guides by any chance?
No, I don't think we do.
Okay.
Yeah. I know that we have a grandmother that passed, and she's someone that I know for both of us, we feel very strongly that she's like part of our spirit guide team. Other than that, I don't think so.
No.
Which again is interesting.
Yeah, totally. This is so random, and I could totally be off base, and I'm also sitting in a blue room, but does the color blue have any relevance to her, the both of you? Like, did she enjoy that color? Do you know?
It's not ringing a bell for me right now.
It's also, I just want to point out that you two both got very deep in thought, and I was like seeing you take a minute and like sit with your intuition, and I'm just like, oh, that was actually really cool to observe. So thank you for that. Yeah. I don't know. I just started seeing blue. So yeah, I just wanted to share that. But that's really cool. So at what point along your journey did you both, and by the way, I actually wanted to actually take a step back and reflect that back to you as well. I almost wonder if like I don't know if this is like a mystic's path where it's like the traditional, consensus approach where like college is going to be fucking great and like your 9 to 5 is going to be phenomenal and all the things where I'm just like, I just feels like it's hits a little bit different for mystics because like I can totally relate.
Mhm.
Like my idea of fun was not going out and partying, and my idea of fun, like my college was not fun for me, it was a job. So I really just
Mhm.
wanted to also reflect that back where I feel like I wonder if that's kind of like the mystic's path. But at what point together did you two just decide like, okay, we are supposed to build and then we flow your business? And I would love for you to speak to, your business, what it is that you're doing, all of that, because I feel like it's very valuable and it's going to reach, and you two are going to build a community that is very impactful.
Okay, real quick before Sabine gets into that, blue came to my mind and it was the color of their home.
Oh,
Their family's from Haiti and
Mhm.
like my mom's childhood home was blue.
oh, okay. I
Yeah.
love that. Yeah, I just started seeing
Mhm.
blue, so I was like, I'll be sure to say it. But yeah, and thank you for sharing your ancestral background too. And also, friends, if you're in the New York area, that's where Sabine and Carine are based out of. So they're East Coast baddies, and I love having you part of the network and all the things. But I just feel like that just what you're building together, the brand, like who you two are. I'm like, you two are twins in New York. You're cancers. You guys are building this community together. I'm just like, that's like a brand image on its own. And yeah, I don't see very many intuitives in this space necessarily going immediately towards product based services as opposed to just
Mhm.
services. So I would love to just get into that.
Yeah, so I think for the both of us, like I mentioned, college was such a hard time for us where we really started diving into this work. And initially, it was just felt very individual. It was the focus was to really work through our healing. And we were seeing that we love these tools, they should be more accessible. More people need to know about this. And so initially, we got our certification in breath work and meditation. We had a website at the time and we had a YouTube channel. We were just like recording meditation practices that people could do at home so that we could really reach as many people as we could. And then we were also doing soul readings for a period, but it just felt like we knew we wanted to reach a lot of people. We wanted to build a large community where like we could create huge impact at a bigger scale, but also have it feel super intimate. And something that we were really heavily relying on is like our home. Like our home is our sanctuary, it's our safe haven. And like we are big on like Carine had a rough day at work. I'm gonna just light some candles. We're gonna create the spa at home. It's gonna feel like the most calming, like Janae Aiko's on the speaker. It's gonna just be, we're gonna create our own Zen at home. And we always had this love for candles. And something that we felt like was missing was what if there was a candle that came with the meditation, that came with the breath work that's really going to help someone, whatever mood they're in, get into a space where they can feel like they're connecting to themselves, that they've calmed down, that they're less anxious, less in their head. And that's really what started the idea. And then we were like, I think we should do it. I don't think this exists anywhere. Like, we love candles. We love a good scent. We love to set a vibe. Like, let's do it. And that's really what like spurred it on.
So it clicked. So Karine, you were mentioning about your mom's home was blue, right? And then
Yes.
Sabine, you started talking about like your home space. So Cancer is
Mhm.
ruled by it rules over the
Oh,
home. And
yeah.
with you guys, I feel like it's okay to share, but your 10th house of career is in Cancer. So you building a business out of the home,
Wow.
like focusing the home based off of like feeling like a sanctuary, like it's very on brand for you both. So I feel like that
Wow.
was a message from maybe your ancestors. So thank you for sharing that.
Oh my God, that's
Wow.
incredible.
Thank you for sharing that. I feel like that was like, it's hard to like build a business, as I'm sure you know. It's hard to be a business owner in this space. And I feel like you just gave us like like a little
affirmation.
yes,
Aw.
like a little jolt that we needed to like keep going and to like really know that we're on the right path.
Totally. And I just feel like you two are so unique, just doing what you're doing together and then also individually. But also, with respect to you two being, I'm pretty sure you switched from a 3 to 4 as after this return. So you're 4-6 sacral generators. So same, same. Your network, your community, the people that ride for you, like once you're in, they're in your aura, in your field, like that's who you're catering to. Like they're going to be the ones that actually like really just promote your business. And I just want to say that I think everything, like you two are on path in doing what you're doing, and I can't wait to see it grow. And I have a question about your candles. So based off of what I know, at least in my background in ancestry, I guess the most aligned thing to call it would be curanderismo. And in that practice, it's the practice of setting an intention and programming candles. So, do you program and set intentions for your candles? Like, I'm curious what, just like, I guess, the background for that is.
Yeah, we do have every candle that we've made has been very intentional and we're all about it's called and then we flow because like we really want to embody like living in a state of flow and the magic that can happen when you do. And like we have fun names like our one candle Hustleware. We were very intentional about wanting it to feel like we're going nowhere. Like hustle who we don't know her. Like we wanted it to feel like a candle that especially for like corporate girlies or the girls been building their business, that you feel like you can light this candle and like just let it go. Just let down all the responsibilities and you can put on one of the meditations that it feels like it resonates most for you and that will really help you just tune in because I feel like it's so easy to get disconnected and kind of get out of your body. And we really wanted it to feel like you were sinking back into yourself. And then, of course, we have like Saturn return policy. And it just felt like, where can we return this? Because we
didn't ask for this.
we didn't ask for this. And like, again, like wanting it to feel intentional and like the sense, we wanted it to feel like, okay, like I'm not alone. There's literally a candle called Saturn Return Policy because this is a hard time. And I have these meditations that I can just quickly scan and turn to like help me feel calmer.
Yeah, I think, another part of the business is that we're very like soul driven. All of the candles that are coming out are based around things that we're experiencing.
Mm-hmm.
And because we're experiencing it, we know that other people are too. And what would we want in this time? How can we serve others in this time so that they're getting the same medicine? So it's like just coming at it from a very purposeful and intentional place.
I love that. So, do you find, and maybe I'm asking from personal experience, but I feel like as a Cancer, it's so challenging. Like, I like to retreat into my shell and I like to come out and
Mm-hmm.
reemerge. And I feel very protective of, like, my feelings and emotions, especially if they're still raw and I haven't processed them. And do you feel like maybe the way in which you both express that through the vessel of and then we flow is being able to curate these products that it's almost maybe like safer to do it in that way than maybe expressing your emotions directly? Like, is there any type of translation where you're putting that into the funnel of like the products that you offer?
That is a good question.
Yeah, I never thought of it like that.
Yeah, but I guess in so many ways, like when we're in the thick of going through something is usually when I'll like have my ideas. Because it's so important that I don't feel siloed or alone in it. And, something that Saturn Return also brought me to is therapy and just knowing that so many of us feel like we're alone in something and we're not. And I think having that as part of a way to process has also been a way for me to like kind of channel and make sure that whatever I'm going through, I'm able to. What Robin Roberts, Robin Roberts on Good Morning America has this saying, and she'll say like, "Make your mess your message," and like we'll laugh and we'll say it every now and then, but like I guess that's what it feels like to know that I'm going through something, as I'm working my way through it, I feel like this can help other people. Like, why is nobody like creating a meditation for this? Or, we can have sense that to me personally bring me to a space of comfort. Like, I want to make sure that everybody has this too.
Yeah. Green, is it the same for you?
Yeah, it's funny because literally never thought of it that way until you asked. Um,
Yeah.
but it is. It's like a form of, um, I know I believe I mentioned that Saturn return helps me reconnect to my creativity, and like this business is one of the ways that I'm able to tap into that energy. And
Hmm.
so whenever things are hard or overwhelming, I think when I'm quiet enough, I get those like, oh, this like a nudge to for an idea for a candle, or how we can turn the mess into a message, so that it's not all in just like absorbed in my mind, but we can turn it into something really beautiful.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
think also to add to that, like, we're also tapping into joy whenever we're working on the candles too. So it also helps us in those hard times.
Yeah. That's sometimes I think that that's like just one of the most important things, if not the most important thing to come back to, is the sense of joy and creativity and having fun, because that's why we're here on
Mhm.
earth. And I think sometimes it's challenging to remember that being, the core of the mission, because you know we're programmed to make money to survive, and they kind of
Yes.
like battle each other
Mhm.
at the same time. So the fact that you two are just ingraining that into your mission, you're setting that in intention for your business, and then we flow from the jump. I feel like that's so important, because so many people don't even know to literally set an intention before you actually start a business.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really cool. Thank you for sharing that. So, okay, what kind of candles? How many do you have? What are the scents, the flavors? They'd be scents, right? Scents. So, what are the scents? And where can they be purchased? And all the things. I want to know it all.
So right now we're direct to consumer, and you'll have to go to mthenbeflow.com to purchase a candle. We have three so far. Hustleware, the Muse, which is all about channeling the divine feminine, and then of course Saturn return policy. Um, the Muse is heavily based in comforts for us. So you'll have a lot of vanilla, sandalwood. We like the really like cozy, like makes you want to get under a blanket sense. And then with Saturn return policy, that's where you have patchouli, vanilla again. I feel like vanilla is very Cancer, so you're getting a bit of our energy in these candles.
I love it.
Yeah, and just like we want, obviously, we want the candles to smell really good, along with the companion of whether or not you choose to like do an exercise. There's also a playlist that comes with it, filled with like just vibe setting music, an instrumental, but also some Janae Aiko. There's good vibes that you can fill your space.
Is Janae a Cancer? Oh, I don't know. Okay,
I feel like I think she might be Pisces.
she has to be a water sign. Like,
I feel like she's a water sign.
I'm looking that up on the side. Oh, Pisces. Okay, yeah, she's a Pisces.
Yeah.
Okay, that's on brand for her. Because if you're a Cancer or any of the zodiacal signs, your physical body embodies literally the traits of whatever sun sign you are. It's kind of wild.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Tell us more. Tell us more.
Yeah, so Cancers, like chest area tends to be, quite enlarged sometimes. Our stomachs are quite sensitive. Not so much like the facial appearances, but water signs in general. And speaking from experience, I feel like I can speak on our behalf. The features are a little bit softer, more feminine. Water sign eyes are they're not as like I guess sharp or defined, but there's like an inviting essence to them. But if you compare like fire, air, earth, and water signs, there's this cool picture online. I can send it to you if I come across it on your account. But you can see the differentiation between the different types of elemental eyes, and it's fucking wild once you start to pay attention. Yeah.
I
That's
have
crazy.
never heard of this. Now I'm like gonna be Googling like all night.
Yeah. So like I forget what it is for Virgos, but like I'm a Pisces rising, right? And my moon's on my ascendant. I'm always dropping shit on my feet. I'm always hitting my feet because Pisces rules over the feet. And if the moon's in Pisces, something's happening to my feet. And I'm just like, oh, it's the worst. But
Oh my
it's kind of
god.
wild once you start to look into that.
Oh my gosh, you're making me want to dig in more so I can
Yes.
understand all the little things. I am pretty clumsy, so I'm just wondering what's in my chart. That can
Yeah.
make me
Well,
that way.
you two are Sag moons, right? So Sag moons
Mhm.
tend to have prominent smiles. Sometimes it's a wide smile. Why Sag moons are also very fulfilled by, like, on an emotional level, by information, by learning, by ingesting, digesting information, just getting a lot of that at once. But
Yeah.
innately, oh, also a lot of podcasters have Sag moons or are Sages in general, but mostly Sag moons. And Sag moons are meant to also inform. So, over the course of what you do within your business, your lifetime, you both are meant to share what your takeaways are.
Oh wow.
I know. It's
You're
like,
like I just want to like open you up like a book and just like read everything.
I am like, and what else?
I feel like we could just vibe, especially just being like the cancers that we are. Because again, like
Mhm.
cancers like attracts like. We understand each other on a different level. So
Mhm.
yeah, but oh no, this was so fun. I'm so grateful for you both and thank you both for coming on. Where can everyone find you? Can just tell us more about And Then We Flow and all the things because I know people are going to want to purchase the candles and I would love to have those details available for them.
Of course. So we're and then we flow everywhere and then we flow.com for the website and then we flow on Instagram and TikTok. And also we're on Substack. Is it and then we flow?
Yes.
And then we flow on Substack where we have the flow diaries and we're just like it's fun what we're doing on Substack. We just had our first interview with Gabby and it's we're trying to build up this community where we can have honest conversation about the things that we're going through in life because it is not easy. Instagram makes it seem like it is, and it's not. So we're really wanting to create a space where people can feel like they can read something open and honest, and also learn something that they might not have known before.
I love that. It's so awesome. Karine, do you have final thoughts?
Yeah, I'm really just grateful. Like I know we touched on before, building a business isn't the easiest thing in the world to do, but every day I find something that makes me want to keep going. And I feel like forming community is really our biggest intention through all of this. So I hope that people come to our space and feel so welcomed and just bring a little piece of their hearts with them because it's going to be like a really heart-centered place.
Yeah, you can tell, and it feels very inviting, especially the imagery and the aesthetic that I notice on Instagram and all the things and the platforms. And yeah, I just feel like that's heart-centered, heart-led community spaces are just few and far between these days because I feel like, and that's also like another challenge. And I feel like you two are going to navigate that flow and that dance so well. It's like what I'm observing, and I'm not saying this is going to happen to you in any which way, but it's really interesting to observe those who make that like up level or that like jump where they kind of lose a little bit of their essence. And I just feel like you two being the Cancerians that you are, I don't see that happening. So I'm excited for you for that. And I'm really excited to see what you two build together and how you grow and evolve and how you flow.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. And we talked a bit about maybe doing a card pull. So if you two would be so kind as to do that and to share which card deck that you're pulling from, I would be so grateful for that as well. And I'm very curious which one comes through because the card deck looks beautiful.
Yes, so we're going to be pulling from a deck called Prosperity Mantras, Modern Affirmations for Abundance. And we've really been turning to it every morning to just like call in good energy, good vibes. And like the imagery is stunning. They speak to like, I believe the imagery is inspired by real women and people in their lives. So I'm going to pull one. All right. Ooh, the farmer. And it says, I am an abundant and limitless being who is connected to the infinite source of all creation. It is in me, not on me. Wow, that feels so timely for the conversation that we had.
Yeah.
I really am interpreting it to be we are the source, end all be all of creativity. Like God is within us, divinity is within us, and we really just need to, when we're feeling stuck, take a moment and step back. When you're feeling really into it, like dive deep because so much of what we're wanting to create is right within us.
And I love that the is the farmer because this is dropping during Virgo season, and Virgo season's all about the harvest, it being the sixth sign, so literally like
Mm.
farming. So yeah,
You
man.
can't make this stuff up. Like, I don't believe in coincidences. So every time there's
Yeah.
a moment like that, I'm like, oh, chills.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, ladies, thank you so much. You're welcome anytime. I'm so grateful to know you both and to just admire you and to see what you're building and co-creating together and with the universe. And I wish you the best of luck today and
Oh my
always.
goodness.
And
This was so fun. Thank you.
you are
Thank
so
you.
welcome. So we like to say bye, like it's kind of an annoying bye. So would you like to do the bye with me as we close out? I'll count us down to
Yes.
three. Okay, so bye.
Bye.